we have seen a number of occasions when technologies from the research system, when they are communicated to the farmers, it is not reaching the farmers at one go. You find that a number of stages are involved from first passing on this information to its final adoption by the farmers. It involves a series of innovation decisions. So let us look at what are all the stages involved in the adoption and innovation decision process. The stages in the adoption process are 5 in number. First is awareness, second is interest, third is evaluation, the fourth stage is trial, and the fifth one is adoption. You look at this diffusion of innovation as consisting of 5 distinct stages. In the awareness stage, the farmers come to know about the existence of the practice, but they don't know about the details of it. In the interest stage, the farmers are curious to know more about the innovations. In the third stage of evaluation, they mentally evaluate whether this innovation can be tried at their level, and after this mental evaluation, probably if they are convinced that this innovation will be applicable to them, they may try it on a small scale. They may use in a limited land, they may use only a limited capital to try this innovation. That is what is called the trial stage. And when in the trial stage the farmer is getting positive feedback, positive response, he may or she may adopt the innovation on a larger scale. There is another model wherein in addition to these 5 elements, 2 more elements have been suggested by Singh and Parikh in the year 1965. The 2 additional elements are one, need, and the second additional element is deliberation. In the need, we first understand that the farmers have both felt needs as well as unfelt needs. The farmer, to pass on from first knowledge to the final adoption of an innovation, must know what is his requirement. The farmer must have a need. Then only the farmer will be interested to know about an innovation. To tell an example, a rice grower may not be interested to know anything about coconut. The same way, a coconut grower may not be interested to know about anything related to rice, because for them the need is their respective crop. Similarly, the second additional element is deliberation. In this, the farmers are getting additional information, seeking opinion and advice about the innovation before even trying them. So in the 7 stage model, we have need, awareness, interest, deliberation, trial, evaluation, and adoption. We come to another important concept, namely innovation decision process. So far we have seen the adoption process, now it is innovation decision process. The distinction is that adoption can be with reference to any message. In the case of innovation decision, the message must be an innovation, it must be perceived as new by a farmer. Another reason as to why this innovation decision process as a model has been suggested is that not necessarily that the farmers will have to undergo all the 5 stages of adoption, starting from awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption. Some of the stages may be skipped. Therefore, the innovation decision process has been introduced as an additional concept. The innovation decision process is the process through which an individual passes from first knowledge of an innovation to forming an attitude towards that innovation, to a decision to adopt or reject, to implementation of the new idea, and finally to confirmation of this decision. And this has been very neatly presented in the KPDIC model. The KPDIC model consists of 5 important stages: knowledge, persuasion, decision, implementation and confirmation. What happens in the knowledge stage? And we all know that farmers will have selective exposure. They will not be exposed to every information, they will be selectively exposing to only information which is relevant to them. The perception of the farmers is also selective. They will be perceiving in their own way. It need not necessarily the same way as it has been perceived by either the researcher or the extension worker. There are 3 types of knowledge: awareness knowledge, how to knowledge and principles knowledge. Let us take the classic example of integrated pest management as one innovation. The awareness knowledge when it comes to integrated pest management is that the farmer comes to know that there is an integrated package of practices relating to management of insect pests and diseases. So he is just aware that there is a new technology available. In the how to knowledge, he gets more details, the skills that are required to practice the integrated pest management, how it can be physically managed, how it can be chemically managed, how it can be biologically managed. All those integral aspects of the integrated pest management are included in the how to knowledge. And the third one is the principles knowledge. Most often extension workers do not pass on information about the principles behind this knowledge to the farmers. Many times farmers are also not keen to know about the principles behind this new knowledge. What is this principle behind integrated pest management is that you need not indiscriminately use pesticides and chemicals to control insect pests and diseases, because there are integrated methods of management of these pests and diseases through biological, chemical, mechanical and such other integrated methods. So that is the principle behind this knowledge. In the persuasion stage, it is more a feeling aspect of the farmers. It is an affective component where it is a question of liking or disliking. The farmer is to be persuaded to like an innovation, and it is here the communication channels play a very important role. Mass media are very effective in the knowledge stage, but when it comes to persuasion, forming an opinion about an innovation by the concerned farmer, interpersonal channels are more important, and the opinion leaders, the key communicators, the informal leaders in the community, they play a very important role. They have an interpersonal influence to persuade the farmers to accept innovations. In the decision stage, the farmer has to take a final confirmative aspect of decision, wherein he will have to either go for a limited use of the innovation, which we call as a trial. Sometimes he may adopt it fully, sometimes it may be thoroughly rejected. This all depends on the merit with which the innovation is perceived by the concerned farmer, and the decision either to try it on a limited scale or to adopt it on the larger scale has to be implemented. And at this stage of implementation, farmers make their own adaptations. This is where the reinvention come to play. Farmers make their own modifications. So in addition to the innovations from the research system, the conventional research system, we now know that there are a number of farmers' innovations, farmers' own additions to the innovations from the research system. These are called as farmers' innovations. And in the confirmation stage, the farmer, on the basis of his experience of trying the new practice or innovation, the farmer may reinforce his decision to further go about a large scale adoption, continuous adoption, or on the basis of his better experience, the farmer may be reversing his decision. The farmer may go back to his earlier practice. There is a possibility of a farmer summarily rejecting an innovation also. It can be active rejection or it can be passive rejection. In active rejection, what we find, the farmer is participating in the adoption. He is using it, but with his experience which is not liked by him, the farmer is rejecting at a later stage. So he is active at one stage, but in the case of passive rejection, the farmer outright rejects the information, the innovation, and he is not actively involved. And this dissonance is a very important factor that extension workers have to keep in mind. The farmer, when he comes to know about a problem and when he is seeking certain solutions, he will be in a disequilibrium stage, and on the basis of either adoption or trial of an innovation, there can be increase in the disequilibrium stage. He will be getting more and more confused. There is a likelihood that he may be in dissonance, and it is here the extension workers will have to give more of supportive messages to see that the farmer accepts this innovation. Discontinuance is another consequence. One form of discontinuance is replacement discontinuance. Here the farmer is discontinuing the innovation once he accepted because he has a better replacement. Maybe a farmer who is growing a high yielding variety, if he comes to know that there is a hybrid, he may go in for the hybrid and he is discontinuing with the high yielding variety. It is a replacement. The second one is a disenchantment discontinuance. Here, because the farmer is having some negative impression about the innovation, he is disenchanted, he is not happy about the use of this innovation, and therefore he is discontinuing the innovation. The third is forced discontinuance. Sometimes governments take a decision that certain things have to be followed by the farmers. Maybe it is with reference to a new chemical, or it may be with reference to a weedicide, or it may be with reference to some variety, and in such cases farmers will have to discontinue because there is a force from some other authority. Another concept which is very common in this context is over adoption. Many a times it is misconceived also. Over adoption is not excess adoption. Over adoption is adoption of a practice, a technology or an innovation when the scientists or the extension workers have asked for its discontinuance. Farmers are advised to take up some innovations at one stage, but when the scientists or the extension workers come to know that there is a likelihood of some undesirable consequences, the scientists or the extension workers ask the farmers to discontinue the innovation, but some farmers do not accept that. They continue with what they were doing. To tell an example of tube wells, there was a time when farmers were asked to tap as much of groundwater to irrigate their crops. So tube wells were recommended once, but when once the government came to know that there is an over exploitation of the groundwater, the government said that we must not go for indiscriminate boring of tube wells, but farmers do not adhere to that. Sometimes farmers even follow taking more and more of tube wells, and that is also an example of over adoption. There are certain pesticides like endosulfan which are banned by certain governments. After banning, even some farmers are adopting these innovations. innovation decision period is the time taken from the awareness knowledge to confirmation of an innovation. So it depends on the characteristics of the innovation. It is also depending upon the characteristics of the farmer and the social system. In some cases the time taken is very small. In some cases the innovations take more time. And the role of awareness knowledge and rate of adoption, this is some very important aspect to be kept in the view of extension workers. We want to reduce the innovation decision period. We want the innovations to be accepted and adopted at the quickest possible time, and that is the objective of extension systems. And it is here we are giving emphasis to the knowledge, persuasion, decision implementation and the confirmation stages. We want to enhance the speed of acceptance of innovations. So far we have seen the various aspects of the innovation decision process and the stages in the adoption process. Thank you. It is very interesting to find that when an innovation is